11, problem number 30. In this particular case, we are looking at something a little bit different. Rather than calculating weighted average cost of capital, we're looking at, in part A, how much we will have to have in retained earnings, and in part B, how much debt we will have to have. So the calculations are quite simple once you look at the solutions on the screen. To have 19.5 million available for investing, if you have 65% of your monies come from retained earnings, you need to have a gross amount of 30 million. So think of the 19.5 million as the net amount, and the 30 million is the gross amount. So if you had to go out and you needed to make $300 as a gross paycheck, and you got to keep 65% of it, you would get to keep $195 or 65%. So in this case, the company has 30 million in a gross amount of retained earnings, so they can take 19.5 million and invest it. Same kind of thing in part B, in this particular case, except it's 25%. So to keep their capital structure intact and to keep it in balance, this company has determined that they will only borrow 25% of their funds. So what does that mean? So that in this particular case, the cost of debt is 25%. And so you need $14 million of debt. You divide it by the 0.25 and you wind up with $56 million of capital. So company has a project. It's going to cost them $56 million. How much will they borrow? 25% of that is 14 million. So in this particular case, they'll have to raise the other 42 million from cost of preferred shares or cost of common shares. So KP, KE. So this simply puts it into dollar amounts rather than percentages, and looks at the problems of capital structure a little bit differently than what we did earlier in chapter 11.